to be able to read my own handwriting a little better. So I work on that. But Rustin Chesky is a name that you'll hear in the news. It's either the guy who died in Portland, Trump supporter, or I think it might be the police officer who shot Jacob Blake. That might be his name. I might have had that wrong. So it's one of those two. Has been reported. I think it's the cop's name. He's on administrative leave anyway. The police officer who shot Jacob Blake is on administrative leave. Not in jail. He's just on leave. They're investigating. That investigation should not be really take that long. I mean, the guys who shot Breonna Taylor should already been sentenced by now. But they're not. They're probably looking for some other poor girl to shoot. Say it was just mistaken. Just a mistake. We just shoot anybody we want and just say it's a mistake and it's totally fine. Get away with it. Anyway, we're going to go to a break. Last one. And we'll be right back right after this.
And now, without further ado, the man we've all been waiting for, T-Jam D. Welcome back to the show.
Welcome back to the show. All right, in other news, let's get to a little sporting news here. High school football is going on. I don't know about everywhere else in the country, but here in Ohio, I've seen some high school football. Not an old tape, not old film or an old game. Actual high school football that was going on this week. Played. I seen it on a local channel. And I actually seen people on the sideline wearing masks. That's how I know it was this is a recent game that was just played. And school just started, so you know the football season is at the beginning of the school year. Usually they have the practicing in the summertime. The football players. I used to play football when I was a younger guy. I was a great athlete, but I pulled a bone out of my socket like Bo Jackson did when he ran over the Bengals. And so I had to, I wasn't that great of a player after that happened. But anyway, I digress. High school football is being played, and my question is this. If high school football can be played, and I didn't see the players having on there was nothing different about the game itself. Like the players' helmets were not, they didn't have like shields over them, which they could do. We see a lot of professional players having shields on their helmets before the pandemic. And, they didn't have any protective gear, a lot of them, on their arms or anything. They were hitting and tackling each other just like usual. So, if high school kids can play football in the state of Ohio, like I've just seen, why can't the Big Ten play football? Okay? Now, maybe it's me, but I'm just saying, the Big Ten, the commissioner of the Big Ten decided not to play, and the players wanted to play. unanimously, the players wanted to play football, and the Big Ten commissioner said, no, we're not going to play. And that's the end of it. He didn't handle it very well, actually, because, there was a lot of protesting, not the same type of protesting that we've seen on the streets for racial injustice, but there was a lot of parents who didn't like that situation, and the players all wanted to play. They wanted to play football, and were told, no, we're not playing, and that's the end of it. Now, this Big Ten commissioner made that decision. I don't know if he makes it by himself. I'm guessing he has some other people that he relies on for their opinions, but at the end of the day, it's his decision. But he made that decision, and he really didn't give a very good explanation at all. And I don't like that. I think, if you make a decision like that, even if it's your place to make that decision, you should tell people why you've made the decision. Long as the players have all the medical information that is available about COVID-19, they should have an opinion. They're the ones playing. If they say, well, okay, we understand everything that doctors can tell us about COVID, and we still want to play, then you should consider letting them play. I mean, to me, all you have to do is just keep them on campus, not let them go home to spread anything if they get anything. Most of them won't get anything. But if there is a breakout of positive tests for COVID, just keep them on campus. You can quarantine the people who test positive on campus, away from everyone else. Don't let them play for 14 days, and then let them rejoin their team once they're negative. But if they want to play, those are the kids I'm talking about that we call kids. They're really grown men. I mean, you can go to war after you're 18 years old, but yet and still we call you a kid all the way up until you're in your 20s, over 21. You can go to war. You can shoot somebody. Apparently, you can shoot people when you're 17. If you're a Trump supporter, that is. Get away with it. You can tell the cops, too. I've shot somebody. Killed 2 people, not just one guy. I shot 3 people, actually, but only 2 of them died. I'm going home. I'm going to have a barbecue. But in any case, the football players in the Big Ten, not just Ohio State. I'm just near Ohio State, but it's been reported that a lot of the players from other teams, in the Big Ten and the Pac-10 wanted to play, and were told we're not going to play. Now, it turns out that they're going to revisit this decision, that they're going to have a meeting, and they're going to rethink the decision of playing football, which I think they should, because the young people should have some say in their future. It's their future. They should have some opinion about whether they can want to play after they have all the medical knowledge, and you deem that the risk does not outweigh the reward. Like, for young people who are 20 years old, most of these football players, most of them are not going to catch COVID, contract the virus, because there's so much. They're going to be tested so often. They'll be tested, if not every day, at least a couple of times a week, probably 2-3 times a week, if not every day. The players, They'll be tested. And if they're positive, they can be quarantined. So they're taking great care of the athletes. The NBA players are tested every day. Speaking of NBA players, the Lakers are moving on in the playoffs. They won their series against Portland. A guy that I work with was telling me how the Lakers are not going to win. But he was wrong, obviously. He's always wrong. He's wrong a lot and could never admit it. Especially when he disagrees with me. If you disagree with me, chances are you're probably going to be wrong. Anyway, Lakers are moving on. And one other notable fact of NASCAR racing, and that is Jimmie Johnson, 7-time champion, missed the playoffs in NASCAR. This is the first time that's happened in quite a while. I think maybe he didn't make the playoffs his first couple of seasons when he first started in NASCAR, but he's made the playoffs consistently every other year and even won the championship 7 times, which is more championships than anybody else ever in the history of NASCAR except for Dale Earnhardt and the King, Richard Petty. Almost forgot his name. That's why I paused. It wasn't a dramatic pause. I should have let you think it was. But I was thinking, what's his name? The King, Richard Petty. He won 7 championships in NASCAR and Cup racing. And so did Dale Earnhardt Sr. They didn't call him Senior because at the time when he won his championships, he was just Dale Earnhardt. It wasn't until his son came along and got so popular, Dale Earnhardt Jr. But anyway, Richard Petty won 7 championships. Dale Earnhardt won 7 championships. And Jimmie Johnson won 7 championships. But he will not win an 8th title, Jimmie Johnson. He says he's going to retire after this season. And he did not make the playoffs. So Jimmie Johnson out of the playoffs. His chance to win an 8th title is all but ended. And he was a great driver. It seemed like it went so fast because I remember when he first started and joined the Hendrick team, said that Jeff Gordon and Rick Hendrick seen him racing and thought this guy could end up being good. And they was right. And he was great. One personal thing I wanted to mention before I end the show, and that is this. In porno, or porn, as most people refer to it as, I was just wanted to bring this up because I was just watching some porn. Not earlier, not just watching porn, but I was watching porn and I just realized that there's a lot of excessive noise making by the ladies, which is annoying. That's not sexy. Cut it out, girls. You know, all that screaming and makes you stop making me have to turn the sound down so that the neighbors, I don't want them to know I'm watching porn. Okay? So, and then there's a lot of spitting and smacking and fingering, which, again, if it's a lesbian scene, is anybody going to perform oral, on each other? These ladies, all they do nowadays is look like they're trying to avoid, performing. It's a lesbian scene. Why are y'all trying to avoid doing the one thing that people are paying to see y'all do in a lesbian scene, and that's have some oral sex on each other? these ladies with all this